In today's video, we're going to put the hemp compressor by Gayle to the test. Stay tuned. Well, hello everybody, I'm Matt Willis Bagpiper, and on this channel I make videos to make you a stronger and more confident piper. If you like this kind of content, please think about giving the video a like and subscribing to the channel. I also teach Skype and online lessons if you want more personalized instruction, but more on that later. So I was contacted recently by Gayle about this new product she's created called the hemp compressor, and it comes in 3 sizes right here, and yeah, they came on this handy dandy little spindle to hold them together. But you have a small one, which I would imagine it works great for tuning pins, a medium-sized one, which maybe for practice channery sized things, or maybe larger tuning pins, and then finally a large one for stock type fittings. And it just so happens I have 2 pipes right here that need hemping right now. We have a Blackwood McClellan elevation chanter right here, and the blowpipe to my Robbies, which had hemp on it for the longest time. I hadn't gotten around to replacing this with polyester, so today this one will be getting polyester. However, the chanter is going to be getting a combination of regular hemp and waxed hemp, so we'll have a chance to test these hemp compressors on 2 different types of string. My understanding is the idea is as you wrap the hemp, it tends to have air pockets and it's not fully well packed into itself as much as it could be, and this should help eliminate that so that you don't have to go keep rewrapping hemp over time, that the first time you hemp it, once it's compressed, fingers crossed, it stays that way. And it should also help even out the hemp along the entire stretch of the tenon that we're wrapping it on here. It's really easy to kind of have a ball in the middle where it's bigger in the middle than on the ends. We don't want that either. But let's not waste any more time, and I'm going to get to hemping up this McClellan Blackwood chanter. So for this, I have a spool of waxed hemp and a spool of unwaxed hemp. This is actually linen string, though it's called hemp by any place you'll get it. You can get actual real hemp string. There will be a video, boom, right up there, talking about that. That tends to be kind of a twine-like color, or it can be bleached white. If you want that traditional yellow, or you just happen to have a bunch of this stuff around because, well, it's everywhere. Again, 1 spool waxed, 1 spool unwaxed, and we're going to take some cobbler's wax, this black, super sticky stuff, and I'm going to coat the first, I don't know, foot, 14 inches in this. I'm just running the string across until it starts turning black. This is going to ensure that the hemp here sticks to the tenon, because that's super important. We do not want the hemp twisting or spinning on the tenon. That can lead to broken bagpipe parts. And if you haven't seen my other hemp videos, and there's an entire hemping series, boom, right up there, you can check that out. I'm going to lay this down flat across the tenon, and then I'm going to do a couple of pretty fat twists around it. There you can see. To get started, I want to make sure I'm not extending the hemp below the ridges here onto that bottom section. And if the ridges go all the way down, which some older chanters do, don't go all the way to the bottom. You want to break between the hemp and this section, because otherwise the hemp can start splaying out onto this and not be fully seated into the instrument. See, here we're moving on to getting a little bit more evenly strung up here, and here are my Robbies. Let's see how it's starting to fit into this chanter stock. Got a long way to go and a short time to get there. All right, so we're getting closer. Still got a little ways to go. We're going to twist a bit more on, and then we're going to give this a couple of squeezes with one of these hemp compressors and see how it's doing. So it's now just starting to bite into the stock. These stocks are relatively small, so I'm going to start with the medium and see how this fits. Goes right over it, as you can see here, and I'm going to give it a good squeeze. Move it around, squeeze it again, squeeze it again, squeeze it again. Well, it certainly makes the hemp look better. My goodness, that is much more even, and now it's not biting at all. So before, when I put this in there, it gave a little, and I could feel it start to grab into the stock. Not in any way now. So that has definitely compressed the hemp. It seems to be doing its job. A couple more wraps, but this time, before I fit it into the stock, I'm going to go ahead and squeeze it a couple of times with this hemp compressor. Try again. still have a ways to go. So I put that much more on, and it's still not quite biting into the stock. It's not grabbing yet. So I would have to say this is definitely compressing the hemp, as the name would imply. But products don't always live up to their expectations. I have a feeling this will be an exception. A couple more strands of hemp on here. Again, before we test fit it, and you can see it's kind of uneven along the sides. That's as hard as I can press in. But once I get this hemp compressor on, there we go. Go around it a couple times. We get a very nice and even looking bit of hemp there. Oh, and that is going in really nicely now. Super even. Wow, and just like boom, that is a straight line on there. I think I can actually go with another wrap right there. Again, taking this medium one, and you could expand it slightly outward. I don't want to break it. I'm not putting that much stress on it to get it on and over it. And fit it in. Wow. That's about perfect. It's in there nice and firm with 2 fingers. I can't quite spin it. If I put my whole hand on and grab around the bulb, and this is a blackwood chanter. Do not, that even made my heart speed up grabbing it to play, like just to show. Always fist to fist and twist when taking out a blackwood chanter, or this thing will crack in half, I promise you. These things are expensive, don't do that. I think I'm gonna actually go with maybe another wrap and a half. So when I'm doing this final wrap, it's a big, it's probably hard to see, but there's a lot of space between there. I don't need that much more string on it, but I would like it to be just slightly snugger. There we go. Wow. Gayle, you're gonna make me have to rewrap all my pipes now. Another thing I want to add about the hemp compressor by Gayle here, it's not just for newly hemped bagpipes. I have my Robbies right here, and I have just gone through, before putting everything together, and compressed the hemp. And I've had to add a little bit of hemp to a few joints that were quite mature, if you will, because this was able to compress already existing joints down a little bit more, even everything out, and get a better fit, even on an existing hemp joint or polyester joint in this case. So the use of this particular tool is not just for new hemp, which it's great at, but it can improve possibly the hemp on your current set. I'm quite impressed. This is working extremely well on regular hemp. But what about the polyester thread that I, wax on about so frequently? Let's give that one a try. Moving on to the blowpipe, and for this we're going to be using polyester thread. I tend to put this on 3 or 4 spools at a time because it's much thinner than the traditional hemp, whether it's real hemp or linen hemp. And so that this doesn't take all day, we're going to put on 3. But much of the rest of the process is the same. I have my 3 strands here. Again, I'm going to take the first 12 to 14 inches or so and go across this cobbler's wax with it a number of times until it gets sticky. And it starts turning black as well. Warning, don't do this over a nice carpet. Any of this black cobbler's wax gets on something, it's ruined. So maybe do this in a garage, or don't wear anything particularly nice if you're worried about it flaking off, or wear something black. It's nice and sticky, same idea. We're going to lay it down mostly flat across the tenon itself and get a couple of wraps to hold it all in place. And we're going to just start wrapping. Starting to get enough polyester on there, but it's got a long way to go. We're going to add quite a bit more. So here we go. I have not used the hemp compressor on it yet. I guess the polyester compressor in this case. I can see it's a little uneven. There's kind of a little extra right there on it. Gonna grab this thing, put it over, give it a number of squeezes, see how this compresses the polyester. Again, even on the polyester, it's done a great job. That high end is much smoother. I can tell actually below that I need just a little bit more, but it's done a great job leveling out even polyester thread. The polyester tends to pack more densely even initially. So I was curious how it would do here, but it seems to still be doing exactly the same job. And do a test fit into the Robbies here. Okay, so it's starting to bite just a little bit. Let's compress it down with the hemp compressor and see if it's still biting or not. You can see how it's built right there, putting even pressure on everything. And I'm squeezing, turning, squeezing, turning, squeezing, turning. That's how I'm doing it. I don't want to really, well, one, if I try to turn it while I'm squeezing, it's not moving. And I don't want to rough up the outside of the string at all. So again, we have a nice, super even, super level looking bit of polyester here. And again, now it's barely biting at all. So it is absolutely compressed even the polyester thread down. So let's keep adding more. All right, more is wrapped, trying it in here. Now it's getting nice and snug. That would be how I'd want it to fit normally. And I'm using the stock basically as a hemp compressor now. Let's actually use the tool made by Gayle here. Okay, so that time, I still think I need a little bit right where it enters. It's a little loose here, but the top part's feeling really nice. And how is this fitting now? Amazing. That fits great. That's exactly what I'm looking for. So we have a fully polyester strung joint, exactly the way I want it. Now for polyester, when you're done, you're going to need to actually tie this off in a half hitch. And that is, so I'm going to put the string under my thumb, run it around, and then push the string through the hole that I created with my thumb. See if I can show this. So I have this string here. This needs to be tied off. It will unravel if you don't. I'm going to go around my thumb, making a hole. I'm going to keep going around, and I'm going to push the string through the loop hole that was made. So it's kind of like a little overhand knot. It doesn't need a bunch of those, though you can do two, a double half hitch, but I'm doing just one. And then you want to pull it nice and snug, but this time I would cut this with a pair of scissors. If you were to snap it just from tension, you may well snap it behind the knot, and then you have to retie it. Here we go, get a knife, cut it, and now I have a little raised bit from the knot. I'm going to use this hemp compressor. Looking great. How's it fitting? That little knot in there? Perfect. Just exactly what we're looking for. And with the chanter as well, I am extremely impressed. Gayle, you have one heck of a product here. I seriously don't see me doing a rehemping of a bagpipe without these. These seem to be as close to a game changer in this regard as anything I found. We'll see long term how this works. If I'm having to add hemp down the line, there will be a pinned comment below with my long term thoughts. I can't give those today. It's, well, the first day I'm doing this. But I can't imagine that it's going to need much. If I do have to add hemp later, it doesn't mean that these failed. It might not have been able to compress it fully. But even if I have to add a bit of hemp later, I still want to use these while I'm hemping. It did a great job of, well, compressing the hemp as I was doing it. As I was describing here, I could get any of these parts to fit with a little bit of a, snugness. I could start feeling it bite into the stock, and then I would compress it using one of these tools, and I'd have to add more hemp before it would do the same thing, meaning a lot of the air and a lot of the unevenness was being taken out by these hemp compressors by Gayle. If you'd like to get some of these yourself, there'll be links in the description below, and you'll see it on screen right now, where you can get your own hemp compressors by Gayle. I am a big fan, and again, I don't see me rehemping a bagpipe without using one of these hemp compressors. Well, thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you got something out of the video, please think about giving it a like and subscribing to the channel. A special shout out to my Patreon community. You'll see the names of folks scrolling up right now. These are folks that support the channel monthly. I'd love to add your name to this list. This channel wouldn't be possible without all of the support from these people, so please consider joining the Patreon. I also teach Skype lessons. Go ahead and head over to www.commandyourbagpipe.com or email me at the address you see right here, and we'll get you going. I'm working with folks from all over the planet, and I hope to work with you soon. I also have a line of Command Your Bagpipe merchandise, as well as the prescription bagpipe merchandise, and items such as this Highland embellishment tree here, which has all of the Highland bagpipe embellishments in one place, plus it's a pretty nifty looking little poster there. But there's also new merch like the Bagpipes Are My Job line, as well as things like a zippered hoodie and bagpipe socks, so go check out the merch store. Well, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I'm Matt Willis, and until next time, cheers.